Hey everyone, welcome back to the course. In the previous video, we have talked about how we can create a pipeline and releases using our Ant. Okay. Now let's quickly talk about how we can create a pipeline using SFDX. Because as we know that SFDX is something which is well known and this is very popular these days for the deployment as well as for the development. Before we go ahead and actually start developing the pipeline related to SFDX, what we need to do is we need to learn about few things like what is a pipeline structure and how we can create pipeline using YML for jobs and stages. We'll talk about what is the difference between a job and a stage. The reason why we are talking about this because unlike Apache Ant, we don't have the ability to create the jobs using drag and drop tool. We have to learn or we have to develop the jobs in the YML language. So in this video, we will mainly focus on the structure of our pipeline, how we can create the structure, then how we can create the multiple stages, and under multiple stages, how we can have multiple jobs so that we can develop the same thing inside our SFDX as well. So let's quickly see. This is my Azure DevOps account. I'm sure you all must have got the email from Microsoft saying that your free trial parallelism has been accepted and completed. If not, then please wait for 1 or 2 days because it is maximum taking 1 or 2 days. I have received the email in within 2 days, so you don't need to worry about that. We will create one project over here. We will say that simple project, and then let's make it as private and click on create. So because we have requested for private repositories, we will be using private project. We will not be creating the public project. Otherwise, we had to again request it for the public project. Now the very first thing is that we have got the project. Okay, we need to create the pipelines. So if you go to the pipeline, click on create pipeline. So as you are already aware about creating a pipeline, which we have already done in previous videos, this time we will select Azure repo zid. Okay, this is saying that YML file, just select that. It will ask us to select repo. We don't have any select. Okay, we don't have any repositories. The first thing that we have talked about for attaching our repository with git or our Azure DevOps. So we will go ahead and simply create new repo here. What we need to do is just add a force ignore force.com and initialize it. As soon as you initialize, you will find a repo over here. Now you can go ahead and repeat the step for creating a pipeline. So this time here you see you have two options: starter pipeline, existing pipeline. So we will be selected starter pipeline because we don't have existing pipeline for this project. But yeah, in coming videos we will be having our existing pipeline. So select starter pipeline. It is going to give you the sample of Azure pipeline, how it looks like. Okay. The trigger is, we have already talked about the branch in which if we are committing any changes, it is going to trigger the pipeline. Pool is basically what is the environment where we are going to run our pipeline. We'll always suggest Ubuntu latest. Then we have got various steps. Under steps, we have got scripts. Okay, so that is a very simple pipeline. But I'm sure we are not going to work on this simple pipeline. So what we will do is we will have this complete document provided by MuleSoft. I will be sharing this as well. So you see here under reference, we are here under YML schema. Okay. Now here if you scroll down, it is saying that pipeline structure, how our pipeline is going to look like. So this is our pipeline which we have created .yml file. Under that pipeline we can have multiple stages. Okay, stage 1, stage B, and under stages we will have jobs, and under job we will have steps. So if you for now if you see directly we have seen steps. Okay, but when we will be working in real world, how it is going to look like, it is going to like we will be having stages. Okay, this is going to look like something this. We will be having stages. Under stages we will be having basically jobs. So we will say we have got jobs. Under jobs we will be having job, let's say job A, and then here we will be having steps. So we can just go ahead and have these like this. There is some indent error because this is very important. If you are seeing that it is saying unexpected properties array, So we'll just copy paste the schema from here, but it is going to look like this. We have got job 1 steps, job 2 steps. That is how it is going to look like. So if you try to remove this, we should be able to, if we indent this before, we are still getting that error. Okay, so we will be just going through here. Under this YML structure, we'll below that, you see this is a pipeline. If you go to the simple pipeline, you see this is how it is going to look like. A very simple pipeline. We are mainly focused on stage pipeline because we are going to have multiple stages like build, a test, deploy, integration, or we can have some other like a smoke test, a regression test, or sanity test kind of things we can have. So this is how you see stages. Under stages we have got a 1 stage, 2 stage, 3 stage. Okay, just copy this, get back over here and replace with this. Now you see here, this is basically your structure of your job. You have build, under build you have got a jobs, then you have got job saying build job, then steps. You can have multiple steps. Okay, similarly here you have got multiple steps. What it is saying, a list of steps. Okay, so basically we have got one step. So here we can have a script and we say whatever the scripts we have, multiple scripts we can run as a part of steps. Okay, then we have got stage. Under stage you can see we have got job. This is saying test on Windows, then test on Linux, and then deploy. Okay, you can have multiple, like if you want to have a job as well, you can have one job as well. You say that deploy to prod. Okay, you say that deploy to test. So basically we don't need to provide any spaces over here. Either we can have underscore or something like that. This is a very simple pipeline with the stages. If you go there, you can click on save and your pipeline will be saved under your master branch. As soon as you commit here, you can go to simple pipeline. As you know that you have okay, we haven't put anything. Now if we want to run, you can just go there, select main branch. You have variables. We have already talked about how to create the variables, pass those, click on run, and as soon as you will run here, you see this is how your stages are going to look like. If you click on any stage, it is going to show build job, then you have got test, under test you have got Windows, Linux, under deploy you have got deploy to test, deploy to prod, and it is running. You can see here you have got, there are few extra things which will be there as a part of Azure things like checkout, CMD line kind of things. Those are we have here. And then if you go to the schema section, you will see that we have got multiple things. If we want any stage to be depend on some other stage, we can use depends on. We can have some conditions like if this is a master, then only run. If this is a pull request, then only run. We can have variables, and then we already have talked about jobs as well. So if you go there, you see here we've got test on Windows. I will just go ahead here. This is, you see here, test on Windows is done, test on Linux is running. You can also cancel it and then you will get deploy. And we can again get back to our pipeline and then we can edit this pipeline. And you can see here we've got this. Okay, this is saying that main, we've got main branch. Okay, that is okay. And then what was that one thing? Yeah, if we get back here, if we click on these dots, we will see triggers. Okay, we can go to the triggers, and then from the triggers we can change the name of our pipeline, because recently it was saying sample project. You can change the pipeline to something else. You can say that sample project with the stages, or you can say that sample pipeline with the stages. Okay, you can have like this. And then if you see here, you can enable continuous integration, override the YML continuous integration trigger from here. So if you check this checkbox, you will be able to override. You can say which branch you wanted to add. You can have multiple branches and you can add those. Okay, you can schedule the branch to run like every whatever the timings you have. Then you can go to the variables. You can create the variables over here, or you can select the variables from the groups that we have already talked about into the previous videos. If you see here, we have got YML. Get source is something where your YML is. You will see every single thing whatever you have. You can say tagged always. You can select all the checkbox, whatever you want. So we've got this error shadow we don't need, and then you can just go ahead and click on save. So this is one thing as well where you can have changes to your YML pipeline once it is done in the we'll say that in our graphical format. Now, one thing that if you go to your pipeline, you got here, it is working fine. If you click here, you see there is one option called status badge. So if you click on that, you will see multiple options. You can say select sample markdown, just copy this and then go to your repos and then edit your readme file and then paste it over here. Why I'm doing this, I'll show you. Just click on preview. You see here it is saying succeeded. So whatever your pipeline is running and whatever the status of your pipeline is, it is going to show into your uh, readme file. Okay. Now if you again go to pipeline, your pipeline is running, and if you go there in the pipeline section, okay, we are in the stage 1. If I go, it's not started yet. So once it is started, you can see it is started now. If you get back and then cancel it, okay, it is cancelling. Once it is cancelled, now it is cancelled, right? Yep, this was cancelled. Now we can see it, the build was cancelled. Okay, so now if we go to our read.me file, we are going repositories, and okay, we are still saying as a success, but it is saying failed. Okay, if there is any failure over the build, we will be saying this fail or success over here. And then you can go to overview file. You see here about this project, if you wanted to add that markdown which we have copied, you can say we can have a wiki file here. We could not find a wiki homepage. We can add a description. I'm not sure if this works or not, but what we can do is we can select readme file, select your repository, and you will see, just click on save. So what will happen is it is also going to show you if your project build is success or not, and on the left hand side you will see how many commits were there, how many pipelines were success. So basically that is how you can completely create a pipeline using your YML file, and this is what we are going to convert into our SFDX. So if you again we are just going to have a very few seconds or a few minutes over here. You see here in under this stages, whatever we have done under the steps, we can have the script to install the SFDX file. We can have a script to connect with Salesforce environment. We can create some org. We can deploy the changes, run test, run PMD validation, sonar validation, copy the files. Whatever the commands we wanted to have, we can have here inside our pipeline as well. So this is it for this video. Thank you for your time, and into the next video we will actually implement the pipeline using SFDX. Thank you.